Angela. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Beverly.
Well, we're here. We're in the dog days of summer.
We certainly are.
Yes, we are. And you know, I think probably one of the most asked questions right now is, how do I water? How much do I water? When do I water? So I thought we might talk about that and visit about that huge issue this time of year.
Yeah, let's do it, because I think one of the things is people see issues in their garden and they think the answer is water, and sometimes it is, sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not. So I wanted to point out this bed real quick. There's some dwarf vinca, there's some dwarf zinnias, there's some sun-loving caladiums, you've got gomphrena, you've got melochia, you've got artemisia, and then you've got this heliopsis.
Right.
So as you know, these gardens are not watered often. In fact, very infrequently.
Infrequently, and the whole key to this is the fact that they've got a great foundation built. And I think we should share that.
Right, right. Well, you know, always it's all about the soil and getting that root development and getting those roots deep. And you accomplish that by watering deeply.
And infrequently.
And infrequently, yes. These gardens get watered, believe it or not, and nobody ever believes me, once a week.
Once a week? Karen, Bev says I only have to water once a week.
They always ask me, well, how long do you water? I can't answer that question because I don't know what their system consists of. So one suggestion I often make is to take tuna can, cat food can, bury that at soil level, or even easy enough, a pie plate.
Right, just make sure you wait
them. Yes, disperse them through the garden, and especially under plants that might look a little extra stressed.
Right.
So they may not be getting the water you think. Turn your system on and see how long it takes you to throw 1 inch of water.
Right.
That is adequate for the whole week.
It really
Lawns,
is.
Flowers, shrubs, everything.
Right. And what that 1 inch of water does is it percolates down deep into the soil. And when that happens, that encourages the roots to grow deeply. Frequent shallow watering is very problematic in our area, because what that causes is those roots are growing in the top few inches. Number one, they don't handle just the heat itself very well.
Right.
But number two, when we do go through a period of drought, as soon as that top few inches of soil dries out, those roots have nothing to search for.
That's
but if
right.
those roots have been trained by deep watering to go down deep in the soil, they can be much more resilient to any extended periods of drought.
And you know, the plants react to heat in all different ways depending upon the foliage. And we always try to explain there's a difference between a plant just being hot and a plant being dry. But we see that wilted plant, and that first reaction is grab the hose.
Right. And sometimes you just have to learn to read your plant. Now, I describe it as thinking about when you have an umbrella open, that umbrella is exposed to an awful lot of sunlight.
Right.
And it can build up a lot of heat. Plants are kind of like that. They have all their leaves out in that same form. So when it gets super, super hot, they protect themselves by either curling their leaves or wilting the entire plant totally to lower their profile of that sunlight exposure.
Right.
It's a natural reaction. The plant is really not even in stress. It's just what they do naturally. And then as soon as temperatures cool off in the evening, if you see those plants perking back up, they're telling you that they're just fine.
Yes. So water if it's droopy in the morning or after sunset, not in the heat of the day.
Right.
So you're just exacerbating the problem. Then they start wilting because they're too wet, and we water it again.
Right. And a dangerous combination on the Gulf Coast is if there's too much water in the root zone around the plant and you have combined heat of the day, what happens is literally plants are poaching. It's like steaming them, and they really suffer from it. And some of our more tender plants and some of our semi-shade lovers, they'll really show that and really suffer with it quickly.
And another sign that people often confuse with water stress is when a plant just reaches the end of its season, the end of its bloom cycle. This Heliopsis is a perfect example of that. This guy has been in bloom since May. It's getting toward the end of its cycle. Soon we will cut it back, feed it, and let it reflush and regenerate for a beautiful fall show. But there's nothing wrong with this plant.
Right. It's just reaching that point where it's having a bad hair day, and it'll recover after that a bit. And you know, with all of these, it really does start out by giving them a good foundation to growing in the first place. And we know that that's the reason you developed ArborGate Soil Complete, is that its makeup allows plants to develop that really good, healthy root system. It's porous enough to allow for good drainage, but it also gives them a place to really root down in. We don't have the same problems we do with inferior mixes.
Yes.
Can I say that?
Yes. Or soilless mixes.
Soilless mixes are really problematic for us. They dry out so quickly. They're very difficult to rehydrate once they're thoroughly dry. And so we really need to start with something that's compost based and has real soil in it.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Angela.
You bet.
Let's stay cool.